Yeah. So this is what happened. I'll tell the truth. I will always tell the truth because why lie? My life is definitely stranger than my life is. Well, my existence is the strangest existence probably ever known. So why lie, man? Why lie? You guys can think or say my queen, my queen, my queen, and find out the answers anyway. And none of the answers or anything that you'd ever want to know could exist, but always will. This is what happened. The United States did whatever they could do against me. So I got up and did whatever I could do against them. I mean, I'm not going to sit in the abuse of the United States like it's a funny game. I'm going to get up and do whatever I can, everything I can, until I'm just left alone in peace and freedom. Hopefully my death stops falling out of me too. That stuff is scary. Oh my gosh. See, when you're an angel and you get killed a lot, it comes out like pee or like fleshy crap that's white. So when you're an angel and you get slaughtered, it's either it either looks like white watery stuff, or it looks like chunky weird white stuff. That's a slaughtered up angel. They look like that. And so if it came out of some kind of human fleshy thing they were hiding in, it would be very scary for them to have to go through it. So I'm just really grateful that usually when an angel pretends to be a human and hides in a human like body type thing, I'm just really grateful that usually an angel hiding in a human fake existence is just an angel that wants to come down to earth to talk to a child of God about being good, or give them a test about the beauty of goodness or something. And you don't have to wonder about a dead angel and a human fake body, because that's just really scary stuff. And then, thank God, when Jesus was crucified, his death was spewing out of his... remember that part of the story of Jesus? And they were talking about Jesus. And Jesus was all dead on the cross, and he had been dead and kind of falling apart in death on the cross too long. And he was getting weirdly horrifying. So everybody got to where they decided to just stab him in his chest. He was getting weirdly horrifying because Jesus was dying on the cross spiritually and more. So they were having Jesus die spiritually on the cross as well as the fake human stuff and more. So when you die spiritually and as a fake human thing, the death piles and piles and piles up until he had all this liquidy, scary death stuff on the inside of his chest type area. And it was mixing with his blood or his other death. And it was horrifying beyond words. Thankfully, when they stabbed Jesus, every God made sure he didn't look. But it was the most horrifying thing ever known, as his death and blood was just rolling and rolling down his body and that cross. It was horrifying. Like I said, after seeing that much death just fall into a toilet at the Desert Hot Springs Library, I'm just traumatized, and I'd rather go to some location where I could just not be me, but that's not how life works. Jesus had every God to take care of him. I'm a dead God. I have to wait till anyone would help me, usually beautiful, amazing gods that I've created, or that were my fake parents, or that just loved me. And then the rest of it, I have to be a dead godmother who gets back on my feet and does this and goes through the whole thing on my own. But I swear, I am using every ounce of my inner self to figure out how to just make it stop. I don't want my death to just keep dropping out, falling out, or oozing out. It's horrifying. So I'm trying to just put myself together so I can go to a bathroom like a normal bathroom chick person. It does not help that the United States stalks me, and really, I need to just do whatever it takes to get them away from me. It does not help that the United States just threatens and threatens and threatens when they know they can't even win anymore, and they threaten and threaten. All they did was break my phone for 2 days and threaten and laugh about all they had done to me. And it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. I put them through unimaginable suffering. It wasn't worth it at all. But they don't even care. They're sick in the head. So this is what the United States has become. The United States killed me over and over. It went to their head. They started altering their brains because they believed that they were God and I was nothing. Because they could kill me twice and I'm a God, I must be nothing and they must be God. So they started altering their brains. Massive, sophisticated brain alteration to believe they were God and beyond. Very scary stuff. Now they will only threaten and make it worse no matter what I do in punishments. I have told them enough times this is going to end very badly because I've already resurrected. And I might be going through some death overload, but I've already gone through resurrection. Once you're through the resurrection, they really shouldn't go near me ever again because the punishments are just not worth it forever. But they won't listen. They think they're God. So it's like, well, okay, you're going to do something stupid to a phone, and I'm going to do every punishment overload I can think of as a God, and you're going to find out right away it's not worth it, but you're all sick in the head, and you won't stop. And it's like, what do I need to do to this country to just be left alone? And that's the sad thing. That's the sad thing. No matter what you do to this country, they just don't want to stop. Because in their brain, this is what their brain looks like. I'm God. I run everything. I'm God. I control everything. I have destroyed things. I have stolen things. I have broken every law. I'm God. I learned how to use the power of a country to destroy everything, anything I want. Destroy everything, anything, at any time. A God that was dead is nothing, and we're everything. We have all the money, all the power, all the control. And it's like, then this is just going to go to your heads until you are dead and gone, and my punishments just make you so dead and gone. But they don't care. So it's like, okay, then I'll just help the world as I go. I am doing everything possible so my death stops falling. Trust me, if I have a cup and anything, it was death more than anything, because otherwise it would be nice just to go to the bathroom like a normal person, well, a normal fake human thing. Go to the bathroom because I could take my little wipies and wipe myself all off and be all nice and fresh and clean. So I would prefer to go to a bathroom because I could use those little wipies, those little sanitary wipes, and just, because you get sweaty. You get dirty. It's kind of nice to wipe your whole self off with the sanitary wipes because it's just nice. And I would love to just go to the bathroom like a normal person, like anybody would. So yes, I am running against the clock to just fix all my weird nightmare problems. I told you about Jesus's death because I thought that might help you. And you guys can think or say my queen, my queen, my queen, and see what those things are really all about. Now, with Jesus's holy sacred blood, he left his holy sacred blood on this planet. When it's my holy sacred death and more, I do not leave it on the planet. So see, when you go and visit where Jesus has been, you might get a miracle, maybe indefinitely, because he left his holy sacred blood behind. I don't leave my holy sacredness because somebody bad makes my holy sacred existence grossed out. And that's kind of a weird thing. So it's kind of hard to understand. So when Jesus leaves his death on this earth, his death is like a screaming, emanating piece of his death. Or it's a screaming, emanating piece of his life that was overly happy or excited. So it screams happiness or screams life. So if Jesus had sweat, it's holy, sacred sweat. It's like a weird scientific vibration where he was on earth during those days or those times. If you are overly sensitive to bad people being around your powers, your death, your presence, your existence, then you would not leave your death or holiness behind. So I don't. If you see me drop a cup, you have to go near that area right away and absorb my powers for whatever fun or benefit you can get. After thinking or saying, my queen, my queen, my queen, to make sure you're going to get fun, benefit, and nothing bad. Otherwise, I kind of round it up. I get my death kind of pulled back in. So my death falls out. You can't put it back in, trust me. Trust me, that's not how that works. But you can think you're saying, my queen, my queen, my queen. And if you can handle some pretty sickening stuff, you can talk to a god about that, but it's really sickening. Which means you couldn't. So you have to take my death or Jesus' death, that's all liquidy and sickening and horrifying, and you let it just drain off of Jesus's body, drain down Jesus's cross or whatever. And you take the dead liquid and you take it with a bunch of gods to somewhere else and kind of rebuild and create it to be a part of Jesus again. So some of his death was rebuilt and put back in. So you know the way Jesus liked his hands. Jesus chose for his hands to stay with the hole in his hands. He felt it was very symbolic, very sacred to him, that he got nailed to a cross and had holes in his hand. It was a very emotional, important piece of his existence. So the gods let him still have those holes in his hands as like a symbolic, but a remembrance and more of all that his poor self had been through for the love of good people. Well, it's kind of like that. You take sickening death and kind of build it. But it ends up looking like, a broken piece of your eye in the corner or something. Or a broken piece of your spiritual heart. So see, Jesus could take that dripping, fake blood, human thing mixed with his actual spiritual dripping death and more, and rebuild it like a little fake rebuilt heart looking pumping thing to emanate that his blood and death of pure precious sacredness, still beats for the love of good people that he died for. So it's kind of beautiful to rebuild death, but it's kind of horrifying when spiritual death exists because it's real unthinkably horrifying. So I thought, well, I'm going to take all these negatives, try to turn it into positive. I keep telling myself, screw the United States. They're going to pay for this. United States, this is not over. You're going to pay for this. Damn it, United States. God always wins. God's resurrected. You shouldn't be doing this to yourselves, but screw this. I'm going to win. And forever, on permanent record, I am the God of goodness. I am just a God of good. They have to pay. Everything bad always pays for bad things. It's just the way life goes. It's the course of existence. So I will always be the dead God saying they will pay because you can't do bad things, much less against God. And they will always be the weirdos doing whatever weird, abusive, horrible things they can do to ruin my day. And sadly, this is what it is. This is what it becomes to. This is where I have to be a god destroying people that are nothing. This is where I'm a dead god and I have to sit and pretty much pop a human like a pimple over and over until they just won't, gosh darn, do anything against me anymore. And it's horrifying that it had to come to this and that they're stuck with this whole I am God weirdo brain. But yeah. All I got is my death and honesty. All I've ever told was the truth. It's so sad because I know that this is what they would do to Jesus. they would try to make it seem like Jesus' death didn't exist. The United States was so excited that I could die twice, but the world would not love or worship me, and I would get no love for my pain and suffering. And they thought and they thought and they thought, and they dreamed and wished they could go back to the days of Jesus and make sure he not only died on a cross, but he died as a nothing nobody would ever care about. That's how much they were in love with what they did to me. You know, during the days of Jesus, they laughed that Jesus was stupid and Jesus was a joke and Jesus was nothing. Back in the days of Jesus, they laughed that if Jesus was born out of some woman, there's no way God would put a baby into a human because he's God. He's too important for that. There was all kinds of hype, all kinds of laughing, all kinds of stuff against Jesus during the days of Jesus. And yet, he was Jesus. And all they had to do was really work hard to ask God, but pretty much nobody did. I just feel really depressed, though, because this time you can just think or say, my queen, my queen, my queen, and know the dang answer in 2 seconds for yourself. But you watch the world pass by and they don't want to. And it's sad, but you can't change the choices anyone makes. You can't change the ending of anything. But boy, when you know what's real, goodness gracious.